Hello everybody, how's it going? My name is mrseacoore, and today we are here with some Genshin Impact. Now, I'm going to go on vacation to Ireland pretty soon, so that's why I'm not streaming and I'm just uploading right now. Just because, I'm really getting ready to go on my trip, making sure everything is in order. So, here we are. I'm not going to be playing Genshin the way you think I am. I had a poll go out and we had one vote. Please vote for the polls that I post on my community. It really helps me know what you guys want to do or want to see. But we had someone ask us to read some books, which we have books on deck. So we do have quite a few books. I don't have this one yet. I should have the Teyvat travel guide. But as you can see, there are plenty of books that we have at our disposal. In fact, there are tons of books just throughout the entire game that I do really want to read. So today I'm going to keep it short and I'm just going to read the Mondstadt Tower, which is this, and we only have volume 1 right now. So let's go ahead and get started. In the time of the aristocrats, there stood a high tower in Mondstadt's plaza. It was built to honor Barbatos, the animal archon in name, yet in reality it was nothing more than a flamboyant display of wealth and power by the royals to gloat over the commoners. And I believe the aristocrats that it is talking about is the Lawrence family, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken though. The one time in the year that the commoners living in these dark times could find a little solace was during the Ludi Harpastum. During one Ludi Harpastum, a wandering singer from a distant land arrived in the city. The name of the lass was Ines, and everyone at the festival was enchanted by her stunning beauty. People of all ages and walks of life vied to catch a glimpse of her throwing the harpastum and to hear her sing foreign ballads. The blessings of Barbatos are for everyone. You are only sinful if you are bitter at such a joyous occasion. As she sang these verses, she handed out her earnings during the festival to the poor and the orphans in the city. A frail figure stood among the crowds. He was the seneschal, and he fell for her at first sight. But his religious piety filled him with a frustration at his inability to suppress the emotions he was experiencing, and her acts of charity, which violated the church's right to aid the poor, irked him all the more. As is known to all, the beliefs of contemporary Mondstadters. They're called Mondstadters? I thought it would be Mondstatians, but I like Mondstadters. As is known to all, the beliefs of contemporary Mondstadters hold that the Animo Archon Barbatos encourages people to seek love and pursue freedom. But in the Dark Ages, the Animo Archon slept, and the city was tormented by the tyranny of the nobles, the poverty of the commoners, and the ravage of the dragon. Meanwhile, the self-proclaimed Orthodox Church, a mere figurehead controlled by the ruling class, aka the Lawrence family, advocated abstinence from earthly pleasures as to avert divine punishment. Under such circumstances, even the harp, which symbolized the wind, had been restricted to playing only those songs deemed holy. However, the notion of divine punishment was little more than an excuse fabricated by the nobles to conceal their avarice and restrict the commoners. To let her stay in the city is to bewitch all its inhabitants. What wickedness will this witch bring? The seneschal pondered. And so the seneschal plotted to hunt down Ines and confine her to the cathedral while awaiting further instructions. As per the traditions of the time, the maiden chosen to throw the harpastum should serve at the royal court for 3 days after the celebration under the protection of the aristocrats. the seneschal decided to send his adopted son, Octave, to sneak into the royal court and abduct Inez. Octave was an unwelcome child, abandoned by his superstitious parents at birth and later raised by the seneschal. As a child, he was persecuted and abused by the citizens, seen as a bad omen of draconic disasters. The only person who protected Octave was the seneschal, who treated him like his own son and thus won his utmost trust. "Bring the maiden who threw the heart past him yesterday to me. Disturb no one and do not mention my name." Under orders from the seneschal, Octave climbed onto the balcony of the court chambers at nightfall. Upon seeing the girl weeping in the moonlight, his pure heart was stirred, for he had never seen such a wondrous sight. He gazed at the girl, leaving his task forgotten. But the silence of the tranquil moment shared by Octave and the girl was interrupted by the servants. So this is actually very important to the lore of Mondstadt as a whole, because what the story is talking about is, if I'm not mistaken, the Lawrence family, which, if you've ever been to Mondstadt, then you understand that there's the Knights of Favonius and there's the Church of Mondstadt. What you don't really see a lot of is that there's the Lawrence family, which is where Eula's story really comes into play to give us some in-depth knowledge about the Lawrences. See, back in this time, the Lawrences were extremely wealthy and powerful, and they are still aristocrats to this day. They still have quite a lot of resources. The only problem is nobody in Mondstadt likes them because of what their past in Mondstadt actually is. You see, Marjorie over here, Catherine over there, the blacksmith, Good Hunter. Everything here just wouldn't really be the same because it would be run by an aristocratic government under the Lawrence family name, which is what used to be what Mondstadt had to deal with. It was the Lawrence family. In fact, you might even be able to still see it in some of the buildings, because a lot of the buildings, even the architecture, looks quite esteemed. If that is the correct word. I'm pretty sure that's the correct word to use. But you notice that it has an almost a regal appearance. It's very quaint looking, the houses that you see. And that probably is due, in fact, to the Lawrence's power. Just their influence over the city of Mondstadt, the nation Mondstadt, just to oversee what they were doing. So pretty much what happened is Inez, a foreigner to Mondstadt, came to Mondstadt, and during the Ludi Harpastum, a celebration in Mondstadt, she gave the people hope, and the head of the church, who was being controlled by the Lawrences, the seneschal, he had an underling, Octave, who came, and he told Octave, "You need to kidnap this girl because she's bad news." So he went to do that, but didn't actually do that because he was too captivated by Inez's beauty. And he saw her weeping and just could not bring himself to kidnap her. So that's actually a very important part of the history of Mondstadt. So there you go. That's the first story that we've read, and I'm excited to read more. I really do want to find more of the books in this game. So if you know where to find any books in this game, let me know, because I want to read every single piece of lore about this game in its entirety. Anyway, that's going to be all for today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you want to see videos similar to this one. And we're going to see all of you in the next video that we do. Take care, everybody.